it's Riley here. So it is day 16 of my recovery, and wanted to do a specific topic video around just my daily routine and what that looks like, and especially getting ready for my wound care and what that kind of looks like. Anyways, yeah, to start off my morning, I'm usually up by like 8:30, and then we end up having breakfast and done, usually eating by like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. And once my breakfast is done, then it's going to be shower time. But usually before that, we just get all of the products that we need ready and put it on a little tray here that I'm actually using with my computer. But yeah, usually just use a tray and set everything up. And then just the only thing I need to put in the bathroom is actually I've showed them in my previous video, but the pee pads, like the blue pads, I cut one in half because I realized I got a really big size, so I'm able to use them twice in a sense, or for two different things. So I cut them in half, and I put half of that in the bathroom, and then the other half I actually am able to use later that night. So anyways, I go to the shower, and then before I actually get in my shower, I take off the leg sleeve, I'll call it. So I take off the leg sleeve, and underneath that I have the non-adherent pads, and so then those come off as well. And then I end up trying to take off as much of my arm gauze as possible. So this is easy to come off because it's just the elastic bandage. But then underneath that I have non-sterile wrap, which I try and usually take off. But if it normally has been pretty gross looking, so I normally have not been able to take much of it off, but this morning it was actually not as bad, so I was able to take a couple little layers off. But once I'm able to not like take it off and have to, it gets stuck, I then end up having to stop there, and then the rest will come off in the shower. So basically that is it for getting ready to go in the shower. I get in the shower, I wash my hair first, and then from there, I end up washing like my upper body, my like chest, my belly, my right leg, because that one is not injured. And then from there, I end up then washing my leg, which I have a bar soap. So it's a Dove like non-scented soap for everything. And then I just rub across like my leg and down the side. And then I kind of like around the area where the graft was taken. I don't go over the area where the graft was taken. I just end up basically rubbing the bar of soap in my hand, and then using my hand to rub over that area specifically. They don't want you to directly like put the bar soap right over the area that was healing. So then from there, I ended up washing my groin area, which is like in between my thighs, underneath, around everything, like trying to basically clean it as much as possible and try and make it like, just rubbing off anything that is not supposed to be there, and but not like overly too excessive or too hard either. So but yeah, cleaning all of that. And then lastly would be my arm, just basically, again, using the bar soap, going around the area or on my hand, and then rubbing the bar soap in my hand, and then using my hand to then wash everything on my arm, because again, you don't want to put the bar soap right over the wound area. So basically try and like wash everything as much as possible, but I'm trying to then also, with all of this, keep in mind, once I actually get in the shower, I try and not be more than 10 minutes, because we don't want to make things too wet, as we don't want to cause something to fall off that it's not supposed to. Also, we try and like, just enough to wash it to be able to make it clean, but not like excessively too wet. So yeah. And then from there, I rinse everything off, which again, like with rinsing, you don't want a direct water. So we've been using just a water jug to rinse my arm, my leg, and everything else off. Once I'm done with my shower and everything is clean, I get out. I have to pat dry everything. So I have to pat dry my leg, which I start there first. I start with my wounds. So my left leg, my groin area, all of that, and then my arm. And then once I'm done that, I switch the towel like to the opposite side, and then end up drying the rest of myself off. And then once that's done, I wrap my arm with that blue pad that I was talking about, and then I come back out from the bathroom and then end up like sitting here on the bed. Once I'm done my actual shower, we have to stay like this, basically completely like open for an entire hour to air dry everything. I don't put anything on my arm right away. I don't put anything anywhere right away. I just have to let myself just sit here for an entire hour to air dry everything out. One, it helps so that you're not wrapping things that are still wet or goopy. It also allows some to heal, like promoting from just the air itself, and just help with healing in the end. So basically, yeah, just give myself an hour to kind of relax and wait. Once the hour is up, I then start with using my arm. First thing to normally do is with a needle. So we end up having to poke certain blisters and stuff along my arm, because you end up sometimes getting a little bit of blistering. So you have to poke them and like drain them by pushing, like putting the gauze on it and just pushing it a little bit, but not too much. You don't want to hurt yourself. And then once all those blisters are gone or poked, then we go over and look at areas that were maybe bleeding prior to, you know, whatever else I was poking, and we end up putting the Adaptex in the areas that were bleeding because it does help promote healing as well. So once that is done, I then go over with the sterile gauze. The sterile gauze sheets, they're quite long actually, but what we do with the ones that I got from the clinic is they're 3 layers. So I open it up and I only do 2 layers on the top and 1 layer on the bottom. And I use about 3 gauze sheets total. And then once I'm done that, I then go over it with a sterile wrap. So then I have to wrap it with the sterile wrap. And then over the sterile wrap is now just the tensor bandage here. So it is wrapped 3 times on my arm, and that's basically it for like now the rest of the day. I don't have to do anything else with my arm. But then with my leg, it's just, again, polyspirin first. I put polyspirin all over the wound that's there, and then I put the non-adherent pads back on, well, new ones, of course, and I use about 6 because the size I bought, I realized were a little bit small. I should have gotten a little bit bigger ones, but I picked them up from Amazon recently, so I did get newer ones, but we'll just use up the ones that I picked up because we'll go through them pretty fast because I use about 6 instead of only like 3. And then once that's done, I put my leg sleeve back over everything to keep it kind of in place. And that's pretty much it for like most of my wound care. The only other thing is like I have to put some just cream and stuff on the groin area, just to kind of keep things a little bit more, not, you don't want things to be overly dry, but you don't want things to be overly wet either, because we want it to be nice in between. So I do end up using some cream on it just to help when I notice that it is getting a little too dry, which normally right now has only been putting it on about once a day, and I find that's usually enough. And then the only other thing I have to do now for the rest of the day is at the end of the night, I have to do another saline clean on like everything down here, and just go over with that and just make sure to kind of clean everything again. So we're doing 2 cleans with like the groin and everything area, only 1 clean a day with the arm and the leg. So it is a bit of a process though. Like my morning routine takes about 2 hours, because by the time I actually get in the shower, that's like, you know, I have to like take off the bandages and stuff. It's only about like a couple minutes, but then doing all of the undressings, the washing and stuff, it's about 10 minutes. Then I have to air dry for an hour. Then redoing the dressings, everything take about a half an hour ish. So that's almost about 2 hours. And then my night clean was only about maybe like a half an hour. So it's close to like 2.5 hours per day that we're spending on doing cleaning. But a lot of also my days like this, spending in bed, because a lot of people did not know this, is that for the first basically a month after surgery, you have to have your arm elevated at a 45-degree angle, as well as your groin area, like the phallus, you have to have that propped up also 45-degree angle for the first month, or at least until things are healed, because what happens is that you end up getting areas that are a little bit more moist or wet or rubbing, and we don't really want that, because then it could get irritated or cause holes in your phallus, and we don't really want that. So we try and like prevent that by basically having to air dry 90% of my day, which is but kind of been annoying, like not doing anything, but it is a part of the process. It's a part of the healing, and it's a part of the recovery that I have to do. So yeah, I wanted to just kind of talk on this, as I haven't really done a full like update of what things are, what they look like, and kind of what my routine looks like on a daily basis. So hopefully this helps if you're looking to going through surgery, especially with Dr. Belanger. This is specifically like what is required by them, but they go through all of this with you at the recovery center and what is expected of you, how to take care of your wounds. There's literally a packet that's given to you, so it's not like this is information that you won't have from them. It's just information that I know a lot of people did not realize that I've been speaking to, so I thought I would just share it on the video. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you all again for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or topics you would like me to do, always feel free to put it in the comments below. And lastly, if you would like to support me any way, shape, or form, I do have an Amazon wish list or a recovery tip option that you can go to. It is going to be in my description and also in my bio as well. But it also brings you to my other platforms if you would like to add me on other social medias. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Bye for now.